What is going on, everybody? This is day 37 of scaling my AI agency from zero to $100,000. We're still at 6,000 cash collected. We got technically 24K in the pipeline right now. Today was kind of a slower day on our side of things. Not much to do. Basically, what I'm going to do in this video is go over what I did today, what moved the needle forward, and also some key insights and thoughts that I've been thinking about that could help you as an agency owner, business owner, aspiring entrepreneur. So tune in, put this into X speed, and let's jump right into what we got into today. So from a high level, dude, today was just a little slow, because I've been so used to output, right? Okay, we have sales calls today. We got client fulfillment to do. We got all this to do. We had a really busy weekend in terms of that, like 3 sales calls on Saturday. Thought we had some on Sunday, did a lot of work on the back end on Sunday. And today was kind of just like some software stuff. It's just annoying stuff. So we got the Claude context done. We fed it in some sales transcripts and some other things based on the front end and what everything's happening on that side of things. So it's all brought up to speed. We got some things we're planning out with it on upsell side for our current client. And also it knows the current state of our pipeline and everything that we're working toward. Kind of helped prep for tomorrow's calls as well. And then the client OS, bro, I've been trying to cook it up. I think I tried to use Codex. It's just getting a little messy on the back end. The UI works. It's just the data connection within Supabase and all this is kind of messy. So been kind of getting a little triggered with that. Vibe coding is not as easy as it looks, especially when it comes to building an actual functioning backend for an app. So trying to figure out how we can do that more simply. Might have to start from scratch and just build up a UI and just try to tap into a backend and make it just really simple. I think just me switching environments from Claude Code, since it was down this morning, to Codex might have just screwed up the entire process. So that's something that I'm kind of battling with as a backend guy. You think I'd be able to do that, but I guess it's a lot easier said than done. So that's a little annoying, but that's where we're at. We got a little follow-up out to one of our prospects. He responded and he kind of showed a little bit of hey, he was kind of confused about the upfront price and then the monthly recurring. So I kind of answered those questions, looking at hopping on a call here this week. I don't really want to rush him into the process or anything like that, but want to keep the door open. He's still obviously interested. He's just, he's been burned in the past. So he's just a little skeptical, but the guarantee is pretty much makes it a no-brainer for him. On our side of things, we had to turn the ads off here temporarily just for cash flow purposes. Things are getting just a tad bit tight since revenue hasn't really moved from what our pipeline has yet. So it's just been a little tight on our side. So we have to shut them off for a day or two. Ideally tomorrow, we're going to get that 12K closed up and then potentially that other 4K. I have a landscaping call with somebody that we were doing 2-step calls before. This is a couple weeks back in the series at this point. We did a scale potential call. It's a 15-minute phone call. I hopped on with this guy for 25, 30 minutes. He said he wasn't going to need marketing solutions until next year. And then he hit me up through text. He's like, hey man, I'm going to need the marketing stuff this year. Let's jump on a call. So we got a call with him Tuesday. We're going to make that price just 4K because we're going to kind of frame it as a consultative sales session. Hey, you don't need a website. All you need is Google My Business, a Facebook account, and then we're going to get some ads rolling so you can start breaking in some Chetty and get you a CRM. That way everything's organized for you, and pitch him 4K for a 90-day term of kind of just working with him, getting all that launched up for him on that side of the boat. And prepping for Tuesday. Like I said, our most qualified call that's most highly to close in my eyes is Charlie that we pitched 12,000 for. He just had a disconnect, like I said, with the middle of funnel video saying $4,000 and then me pitching him $12,000. So he just saw oh, this is 3x than what I thought it was going to be, right? But price isn't really an objection for him. He just had to kind of process that mentally, I think. We did a little mastermind as well, did a little walk, kind of got dialed in from business perspective, kind of where we want to go, what's going on, what we can do here, kind of looking down the line a little bit. Then we hit a gym session, little back and shoulders day at the clubhouse gym. I really do miss working out at a public gym a lot, but that was worth it. Got it done. Wanted to take a nap today, bro. I was like, dude, it's just one of those days. And I'll talk about it here a little bit later in this video. It's just you kind of just and it happens to me on Mondays a lot. I don't know why. It's you kind of get up and it's okay. I had my agenda today. I had what I wanted to get done. And you start experiencing friction. And then you kind of get into fuck, you just feel a little off. That's kind of how today felt for me. I mean, that's just the raw reality of what it is to be a human, right? You just feel off some days and that's just how it goes. So one of the questions that I've kind of thought about lately is how do you stay focused in a hype-driven space, especially with AI, right? Claude came out, everyone was freaking out over it. It's just weird to me that it's so easy to make money and like with AI to make money, but yet so many people can't make it happen. Now, I wonder why that is. I think there's two contrasts going on here. Like one side is like, okay, it's really easy to make money with AI. But the contrarian take is it's hard to make money because of all the distractions around you, right? People are consuming content, right? They're getting distracted by algorithms. Maybe they're going into feedback loops with ChatGPT, which I experienced back in my day. I had a complete run of ChatGPT psychosis, early stages of my entrepreneurship career, thinking that I was tapping into something amazing and essentially getting gaslighted by ChatGPT, telling me it was awesome. And then I just got kind of in this feedback loop, this dopamine loop where it's just, it would give me an output and I'd be like, holy fuck, this is sick. Give it an input to get a better output. And then like the cycle just kind of went through and I never built anything out, or I never had like a go to market strategy. So I believe that's happening to a lot of people. And I also believe it's just so hard to build something in such a distracted world. Like we've never been more distracted than now. And the funny thing is like the distraction levels are getting higher, but it's getting even easier to build something, right? But it's like people, it's so much harder to pull away from the distractions and actually lock in and build something with AI. Right. And I think that's where the disconnect is that 99% of people are already too distracted. They're too far gone. Whereas like coming down to the surface level and pulling away from those distractions and trying to tap into this, one of the greatest opportunities of our lifetime and potentially one of the easiest times in history to make money, but they can't pull back from those distractions. So I think it's just even for entrepreneurs, I could route this question. So that's for like the basic person that's trying to get into entrepreneurship and make money with AI. I think there's so much distraction. The barrier to entry is really low, but also really high at the same time because people are just so fucking distracted. And then the second thing, if you're an entrepreneur that's building something, it's really easy to get pulled in different directions based on different opportunities you see in markets. When you've been an entrepreneur for long enough, you start seeing, oh, damn, this is a really interesting offer. I think that would work really well. We should run that, right? That looks cool. Like it's kind of like shiny object syndrome. And whether you like it or not, you're not immune to it, right? It's like it still happens. It's just whether you actually seek into it or not. So for my specific workflow, when I see something that's like a big opportunity, or I'm like, oh wow, this opportunity could be bigger than what I'm trying to build right now, I look back and I think, okay, what is the real implications and inputs that I need to make to actually make that happen? And what's the time horizon, right? Am I looking at this from a short-term perspective, or am I looking at this from a long-term perspective? Because there's two different buckets there. If it's a short-term thing, then I kind of just, okay, is this actually on a short-term timeline? Right? Can I make this happen in a short amount of time? If I can't, then it's like, okay, it's not worth it. Do I have the bandwidth to move from what I'm currently doing to implement that thing? Is that thing really checking all of my boxes? Is it a high ticket offer that I can fulfill once? Is there market demand for it? Right? Does it check my boxes? Is it easy to market for? Is there low competition? Right? Because as long as it checks your boxes as an offer that you would want to pursue as an entrepreneur, you can entertain it. But if it doesn't check any of those boxes and it's a short-term thing, you need to throw it in the trash bin, right? Or maybe just throw it in your notes app and like, hey, maybe I'll come back to it down the line, right? You revisit it in 2 weeks and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? Why was I even thinking this was a good offer? Why did I even think this was something I should pursue, right? But when you see something that could potentially be more of a long-term opportunity, like a big moat here in the next year, 2 years, 5 years plus, that's something that you can start gauging and understanding, okay, is the world going to be operating in this way here in the near term? Or is this a completely contrarian take to where the world's going? Because at the end of the day, long-term plays, you have to predict how the market is going to evolve, right? And if you don't have a solid, astute prediction based on how it's going to evolve, that long-term play could be a complete waste of time, okay? So you have to look at that for long-term plays as well. If it checks those boxes and you feel like that's really where the world is heading or business is heading or that market is heading, then that's something you'd start putting your eggs to, start researching, start exploring what that market looks like, start open a Google Doc, right? Feed that into your Claude Code database and start building up IP and data on that long-term play. And obviously it has to align with your values. Like, what are you truly trying to build? Right? So that's kind of how I see it in two boats, right? As a consumer, somebody that's just trying to get into entrepreneurship or trying to make money with AI. And then also as an entrepreneur, seeing all these shiny objects and different business opportunities, quick money, long-term money. More so we're attracted to the quick money, right? Especially if you're still in the trenches, right? Trying to scale up, trying to get out of the trenches, you get attracted to the quick money really fast. But the long-term money, you don't see it very often, but if you've been in business long enough, you tend to start looking towards the long-term plays rather than short-term plays, especially if your cash flow in the short term is already fulfilled. Okay. So, and it's already stable. So that's kind of my answer to that question. I thought it was such an interesting question that I've kind of just thought of throughout the day. It's like, it's really hard to build in a distracted world, but it's so easy because AI is here. It's never been easier, but it's never been harder in all reality. So, and then the ugly middle is something that I'm experiencing right now. I want to talk a little bit about this. I think it's kind of rare. I feel like every entrepreneur goes through this as they start kind of achieving and getting close to their breakthrough, but everyone has to go through this. Essentially, the situation we're in right now is we're essentially waiting for time to catch up, right? We're kind of in a bubble, right? And today was Monday, okay? And we did a lot of front end, had a lot of momentum and a lot of touches, a lot of conversations, a lot of opportunities from last week. Okay? And granted, we launched this funnel. It's been 7 days today, okay? 7 days. So we launched this on day 30, okay? And we're basically just kind of waiting for our bubble to pop because we're kind of in like an influx right now where we can't really move until we close somebody up, right? Until we get a deal done, right? No matter how big the deal is. Okay. So we kind of have this ladder like, all right, we have Charlie, 12K. We have the landscaper. We have Charlie. Well, we have our top dog prospect, 12K. Okay. High confidence. I'd say like 80%. And then we have the $8,000 guy that we pitched. He's been burned before, right? That's our next opportunity for a deal. And our third opportunity is a landscaper for a 4K deal. And then our fourth opportunity, our last resort, is upselling our client again. We've already identified an opportunity there, probably going to be looking at around a $1,500 to $2,000 upsell yet again. So those are kind of like our 4 deal options there. But right now, we kind of need a deal to move forward, to move the business forward, because we're really cash flow constrained right now, right? We can't spend $50 a day on ads right now, and we don't really want to be spending anything less than that. Okay, so that's why we shut off the ads. We don't want to just be throwing $10, $20 a day at ads. It just doesn't really make feasible sense. It's just kind of us in our eyes, just kind of like burning money and like collapsing the time horizon. If we have to, and like everything falls through tomorrow, let's say hypothetically worst case scenario, we will. But as of right now, it's like the benefits outweigh the doubts. So we just need to get through this ugly middle, right? We just need the cash flow to materialize so we can actually start putting more money into the machine that we've already proven in less than 7 days and actually start scaling the business, taking on more clients, doing fulfillment again, and starting to maintain and manage these systems that we are building and also trying to build here as we start scaling the agency. I think it's a very interesting predicament to be in as an agency and business owner is like you just see an ugly middle sometimes, especially if your deal value is really high. Now, this would be completely different if we were selling something that was under $1,000 and it was a low ticket, but we're selling a relatively mid to high ticket product, right? It's a high ticket offer. 12 grand is a lot to the average person, right? But to the guys we're talking to, it's not much. But that's kind of the friction we're feeling, right? Because like deals don't always close on the first call, especially with that high of a price point, right? So it's just like if we were doing low ticket, we would be fine, cash flow would be stabilized, but at the same time, it's low ticket. No one really wants to play the low ticket game. Personally, in my opinion, which we'll get into later, low ticket is a commodity. It doesn't matter what offer you sell, low ticket, it's a commodity. Someone can easily copy it. But yeah, we're just in a weird middle right now and just kind of waiting for deals to process and things to come through pretty much. So that way we can start moving the business forward. It's just such an interesting experience to be in. I kind of just feel friction, kind of feel fogged, kind of just taking today as like a weekend day almost, getting some things done, learning, doing kind of small tasks throughout the day and just kind of doing admin things and checking in. But nothing like crazy deep work because it's like, okay, like what are we really going to work on? Right? Like we need deals to come through so we can have things to work on, right? Like once deals come through, we can start ramping up ads, start spending $50, $100 a day on ads. Then we can start getting into fulfillment for that client, right? And then we can start moving into SOPs and processes and making sure everything's structured and dialed for fulfillment. But everything that we've built out thus far has put us in the position where today we really didn't have much to do. Right. And that's just kind of how it goes, right? I probably could have found things to do, but at the end of the day, like you need to prioritize what's the highest priority thing to do is close a deal, right? And we did everything we could to start pushing and moving these deals forward within our pipeline today. And then obviously tomorrow is our inflection point where ideally this bubble pops and we can keep moving forward here and scale into March. Okay. So that's kind of what the ugly middle is. That's what I'm experiencing right now. Let me know if you've experienced something like this in the comments down below. But yeah, that's kind of just what every entrepreneur sees in business right before the big breakthrough. And then I get this question quite frequently. What is the best niche and offer structure that I can run as an AI agency owner in 2026? Now, my answer to this question first Do not sell a commodity. Okay. Now, I guess there's two sides of the story here. If you're new to business and you have zero experience, you have no idea how to deliver results, and you have essentially like imposter syndrome to sell a high ticket offer, sell something low ticket. There's nothing wrong with selling a voice receptionist. There's nothing wrong with reselling Go High Level. There's nothing wrong with selling something low ticket. Okay. It's easier to sell. Arguably, it's easier to find buyers, but at the end of the day, it's a commodity. So you're competing on price, right? So which is really good for you because you can just undercut everybody else that's charging $1,000 for something that you can charge $200 for, right? And it's a great way to get your first couple clients, get experience with how to actually sell and actually deliver for clients. And then you can start upselling them if you want to make that a good top of funnel, right? Because sometimes low ticket works to bring people into your ecosystem and then upsell them, right? It's like the 297 website and AI offer that Stone Systems, whatever that guy's name is, Cole, has been pushing for years now, right? And he's like, I'll upsell you guys all into marketing services, right? That's the goal because he doesn't really probably breaks even in the first month just for the 297 a month. So that's my advice if you're a beginner with zero experience. If you have experience, sell something high ticket and sell something to local businesses, preferably businesses that have money. You don't want to be going for people that are barely scraping by, making less than 100 grand a year. If you're selling something $10,000 plus, doesn't make sense. So selling high ticket to high-end niches, and there's a lot of them in the local service market. There's a lot of them. And I'm telling you right now, there's niches you've probably never even heard of that are completely untapped in the local service market. So I would just say sell high ticket systems, not products, systems to high ticket niches, right? Niches that already make a lot of money and they can make their money back that they spent with you on one sale of whatever they sell, right? Like roofers, remodelers, right? Ticket trades businesses or local service businesses. Okay. Now, the thing is here is that these businesses really only care about two things. Okay. And this kind of ties into the low ticket side. If you are a beginner, you need to help them make more money, right? And this is why voice AI is good. If this business already gets a lot of calls, selling them voice AI is good because it's something that will make them more money. It will allow them to talk to more customers and not miss as many phone calls, right? It's a good offer. But if you're selling something that does not directly attribute to more revenue for a business, it's going to be really hard to sell, right? You can maybe make the point that, hey, I can get you your time back. But even for a low ticket, lower leverage business, it's not going to be valuable because at the end of the day, they need their money more than they need their time, right? They need money more than they need their time. They could give a shit about their time because they need money and that's all they think about. They don't even audit their time. They're not operating like a CEO. So if you're selling something low ticket, your offer needs to promise them more leads, more attention, more eyes on their business, no matter what you're selling. I don't even care if you're selling a website. Promise that that's going to get them more leads, right? Because that's all they care about, bro. All they care about is making more money, okay? For the higher end guys, right, if you're targeting bigger businesses and selling a more high ticket product, I would also promise them more revenue, right? If they sell high ticket projects and you can even get them 1 to 2 projects, they're going to make a fuck ton of money with you and they're going to be happy, right? And they're going to want to pay you again and again and again. And there's so many more upsell opportunities with these higher ticket prospects, right? These higher ticket clients, because they spend a lot of money, they make a lot of money, and they're willing to delegate their time once you sell them on the leads, right? So the first thing you do is I say, hey, I'm going to bring you more business, right? And then what I'm going to do, once you get overflowed with business, I'm going to start buying your time back for you. I'm going to implement systems that get your time back, right? So you can handle that scale, right? You see where I'm going with this? You always want to sell new business on the front end, no matter what. And then the back end is saving time, okay? So that's the strategy you need to go into. There's really no best niche. Just pick a niche that charges a lot for what they do, right? A niche that makes a lot of money, right? The smaller, the better. I'm telling you that right now. If you can find a market that's smaller than 100,000 businesses, your TAM is probably going to be like 20,000 businesses. That's perfect enough to dominate a market. If it's a red ocean market and there's a lot of competitors, which is about 80% of markets, you need to find a key way to differentiate yourself. Study those competitors and figure out how can I be different than them? How can I position myself more effectively than them? What do their reviews say? What do their clients say? What are they positioning themselves as? Do not copy their exact positioning. fit yourself into the market in a new way. And you can position yourself in a couple ways. You can position yourself to target one specific type of business owner within that niche, someone that's struggling with a specific problem. Okay. Or you can niche down based on your process, what you actually sell to these types of businesses within that niche. Or you can niche down based on the brand level, right? How you identify yourself as a brand, how you market, how you advertise, how you funnel people into your business, right? From the top, middle, and bottom. Okay. So those are the three ways you can differentiate yourself in a red ocean market. Okay. And that's what you're going to absolutely have to do in a red ocean market if you want to stand out and make money. There's no bad niche, but blue ocean is a lot easier, but you don't know if the demand is there. But the demand is almost always there if you're promising people more customers. Okay. So this is literally the easiest offer to sell. It's like, hey, I help you get more customers, right? So if you want to build a business, go figure out a niche that sells an expensive product, an expensive service, and figure out, okay, how can I get them more customers? And build an offer around that. That's it. It's that simple because all they care about is more leads at the end of the day. They don't give a fuck about AI, but if you can sell them something that gets them more leads, they don't give a fuck if it's AI. They don't care what it is. If it gets them more leads, they're going to say yes. It makes it a no-brainer for them. And they can directly see the attributed ROI they can expect if they buy from you. Okay, so that is the strategy. It's really that simple. So that's my advice for best niche and offer structure. Offer, give them a really good guarantee, okay, that makes it absolutely a no-brainer for them. It needs to be a money-back guarantee, okay? It needs to be a money-back guarantee, right? And you may say, oh, well, bro, like, what if I don't deliver results and, I have to give them their money back? If you're selling something to someone that makes a fuckload of money, they make all the money back and then some that they paid you off of one deal, and your term is 90 days, 60 days, it should be at least 90 if it's a high ticket thing. You're going to get them a deal, man. And even if you don't get them a deal up until that point, you're going to fucking do everything in your power to get them a deal, right? And you can put something in a contract like, hey, depending on your offer structure, if you do just a straight setup or if you pay up front for the entire month or if you do retainer, I don't really recommend retainers. I would recommend cash collecting everything up front, charging an upfront price for something, and then doing a maintenance retainer after those 90 days, because especially if you're building like a system, it takes a lot of effort and time up front to actually build it out and put it into place for them, right? But then managing is relatively simple, okay? You can have something with like, hey, half of this fee, let's say you're charging $8,000, okay? Yeah, so $4,000 of this goes to the build, right? In the contract, like, hey, $4,000 goes to the build. That's non-refundable, okay? The rest, the other $4,000, if we don't generate you the revenue numbers that we expect and that we said we would, then we will refund you that. And it's a little less of a worry for you. And then you can also give them a clause within that framework as well, like, hey, as long as you're responding to leads every 24 hours, this guarantee stands. You have to show up to a manual closing call on the 10th day to fulfill this partnership, and I need to be able to see your metrics. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different clauses in here that you can kind of work around to make a really good front-end guarantee. But then once you get into the back end with the contract and everything, there's more protection for you. Okay. If you do that, you're great. You're in great shape. I recommend doing upfront payments for a specific time period, at least 60 days. I would go 90 depending on the offer. And that's pretty much it. So I hope this helps when it comes to niche selection and offer selection, depending on where you're at within your business and entrepreneur career. So tomorrow is a big day. We have a closing call at 10 a.m. my time and the sales call at 2 p.m. That's really all I have on the agenda for tomorrow. That's all I'm going to be focusing on tomorrow is getting a deal, okay? Getting a deal. It's day 37. Let's get a fucking deal. That's what we're working towards tomorrow, getting a deal. So that's really all I have to say for tomorrow's agenda. Getting a deal or not getting a deal will completely shift how the day is going to go. So I'm just putting down the two red things that are highest priority in my mind right now for tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're working out there, if you're building something, keep grinding. I believe in you. Make sure to like this video, comment if you have any questions, concerns, or insights. And then also DM me on Instagram if you want to connect with me. If you have any kind words or any questions, I would love to hear from you. And make sure you subscribe to follow this journey from $0 to $100,000. I'm smelling it soon. We are around the corner. Things are about to explode. I'm excited that you guys are tuning in every day to watch this journey. And we will see you guys for day 38. Have a good one.